who wishes to join. We're live for the second day in a row. Back at my house, and we are working on a sweater. And there goes the furnace again. Yeah, it's cold here. So yeah, we're live again right now to keep me accountable and off my devices. I will allow myself a little doom scroll as a treat when this sweater is done. Need it done in time for Christmas. So, here we go. We are speed crocheting our way through this as best we can. We are using loops and threads, facets. It's a very nice acrylic 1-ply roving. I love it very much. And yeah, that's what we're doing right now. I'm gonna stitch over here and see if I can't make the seam avoid the migrating seam. We'll see. I'm honestly just winging it at this point. You can hear my nostalgic Christmas lights in the background. It's mid-afternoon, so I actually have energy. I'm not yawning. Hoping people show up for this live. But if not, oh well. Can't doom scroll when you're busy live streaming. And I ain't got the time to doom scroll right now. So. There we go. Let's get moving. We just divided for the sleeves. So now we're working on the main body. I'll do that for a while. And then when that's done, I don't know if I'll start on the sleeves or do the bottom ribbing before I do the sleeves. Because the bottom ribbing takes time and can get pretty tedious. So I may do the sleeves and the cuffs for the sleeves before I tackle the bottom ribbing, just to avoid driving myself crazy. And yes, it's an interesting color combination, but the person I'm making this for, it's their favorite color combination, so deal with it. And this is the easy top-down pullover raglan pattern by MJ's Off the Hook, but with my own modifications, because I never really follow a pattern. Anyway, we're also live right now to try and make the algorithm like me again, because I've had supremely bad luck last week and didn't post anything. And then the vlog went up late because I hadn't even gotten a chance to sit and edit it because, again, supremely bad luck, car troubles, makes sense. Adulting is hard, and it doesn't get any easier. Because I have been adulting for a long time. I'm older than I look. Let's see, am I getting messages or is it just being annoying? Sometimes chat, I'm sorry if I don't respond. For some reason the system glitches out sometimes and it won't show me any of the chats, and I have to go through and push the button every once in a while. Anyway. I do hope everyone who's watching is well. I hope you will stay for a while, say hi, hang out. Don't forget to double tap the screen to like the live and hit that subscribe button. Pardon the dull roar in the background, that's my furnace return pass. This is a very old house that I live in. Like, it's so old that no one knows how old it is. They know there was an addition built on in the year 1900 to add indoor plumbing, but that's it. Anyway, I hate crocheting into chains, but alas, it must be done. There we go. Okay, now it's just the Christmas music in the background from my nostalgic lights. Here we go, friends, here we go. Just keep crocheting. Don't really have much to talk about right now. All I did a while ago was wrap presents. And as I've said multiple times, this is the last year I can wrap presents on the floor. I'm surprised I've made it this long, but I think it's because it helps with my day job. I have to be on the floor a lot, so I've been able to extend my floor wrapping by a few years. Like I said, I'm older than I look. People either guess that I'm way older than I actually am, or that I'm way younger. Way do do do. I just gotta get through work tomorrow and Tuesday, and then I'm off for like 2 weeks. So I'm hoping to really catch up on my YouTube stuff. These past couple months have just been completely insane in the background here. My brother got married, my uncle passed away, I bought a house, moved into it. All that stuff. So yeah, the holidays really snuck up on me this year. Hi, Mom! Welcome to the live. Decided to go live to keep myself accountable and off of my devices so that I can finish this sweater. I hope the cookies are going along well, Mummy. Not been able to crochet in the craft. Keep me moving. Sorry you haven't been able to crochet. Sorry about the cancer. That's really not fun. Okay, let's negotiate this slip stitch here. No. Okay. I want to go into that stitch. Hi, Mommy. Okay. Alright, I think we're off to the races here now. Guys, if you're just joining, don't forget to double tap the screen to like the live and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. The algorithm kind of hates me right now because I've been a bad content creator these past couple months. Sorry, life got in the way. Tangle. That's one thing with this roving style yarn. It's very nice, very pretty, but it sticks to itself like you would not believe. Oh, you were saying hello to Nora. Okay. Okay. I think we got it. Let's keep going. Oh, that knocking you hear in the background is the wind banging my Christmas decorations against my door because I live on top of a mountain where it's incredibly windy. Like all the time. Like, I want to get solar panels for my roof, but now I'm thinking I should get my own wind turbine. I think that would be a little better. Or both. Both is good. So, love this soft roving yarn. I want to get so much more of it. Would love to make like a rainbow sweater in every color. Or something like that. I think that would be so pretty. That's right. I gotta update Nightbot at some point. I have more affiliate links. I need to put in discount codes and such because love a good discount. So, only a couple more days until Western Christmas. Hope everybody that celebrates is ready. I'm certainly not. There were so many things I wanted to do this year that I just did not get to do, which kind of bums me out a bit. Like, I wanted to do Vlogmas this year, but too much going on. So I wanted to make more Christmas stuff for my shop, but too much going on, so we'll just have to save all that stuff up for next year. Good news is my brother's married, so now I don't have a wedding to account for next year. So I could probably do more craft shows, because I only did 2 craft shows this year. Normally I do like 5 or 6 a year, but I only did 2 this year. And I'd really like to do more than that. Especially since the area I moved to does a lot of craft shows. Like locally, like so local. I could just set up on my front lawn and be like, hey, does the booth fee apply if your spot is on your own lawn? I don't know, I gotta talk to the people around this area. It's a small town, but they've all welcomed me. Which is always quite nice. So, the goal of this live is to get at least the main body finished. I might not necessarily start the bottom ribbing. I may jump straight to a sleeve, and then I'll worry about doing ribbing afterwards. And cuffs and everything afterwards, just because those can take a long time and be very tedious. And like, I do have to get off live at some point, because it's Sunday. I talk to my aunt every Sunday. And I have to make dinner. And I have to get ready, because I'm actually traveling for Christmas this year, which is a nightmare in and of itself. I've like never traveled during the month of December before, so. Anybody got any tips, let me know. Because I've got no idea what I'm doing. Hey, Chris. Welcome to day 2. We're live again. So. We are getting this, making good progress on this sweater. We divided for the sleeves. We're working on the main body. Like I said, I'll probably skip the bottom ribbing for now, do the main sleeves, but this needs to be done and wrapped and in the car, ready to go by tomorrow night. Am I insane enough to finish a whole sweater in one night? We'll see. We got coffee, so we'll hope for that. Ugh. And then at some point tomorrow, I gotta call the oil company and order more oil. Hi, Gracie. I can't stay, but wanted to wish you Merry Christmas. Thank you, Laura. Merry Christmas. That's right. This is the last live before Western Christmas. Again, I'm Orthodox, so Christmas is in January. More oil, or well, I'm down to 1/3 of a tank. I was at 2/3 of a tank with 175 gallons. And from what I heard, every oil company around here, including the one that I'm getting oil with, like, does a nice discount if you order around Christmas time. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just top it off and hope it gets me through the rest of the winter, because it's supposed to get even colder out. And plus, everyone I work with that has oil heat has said, like, don't let your tank get below 1/4. So I don't know. I'm thinking I got quite a bit. I made quite a bit at my market last weekend. So I'm thinking put that towards just stuffing the tank and seeing if that'll get me through the rest of winter. I don't know. I've never done this before, so. It's worth topping off, just make sure there is one. Yeah. Well, that's why I gotta call and ask. Because the oil company I get it through, it's like 2 guys trying their best. But everyone I know with oil heat is like, yeah, buy during Christmas. And I don't know what's going on right now with the economy. Have the money now, may as well. And then I'll be set until springtime, and then since prices always drop in springtime with it, heating oil, I'll have a better idea of how much I use, and I can just pay for all of it up front at once when the prices are low. I don't know, this is why I want to switch to electric heat. I have enough until this deal shows up. Yeah, hopefully. It's 1/3 of the tank, and when I checked it last week, I checked it Wednesday night last week, and it was still sitting at 1/3 of a tank. So I mean, I have the electric fireplace that I supplement with. I have a space heater that I supplement with. I just got my electric bill in, and it wasn't that bad despite constantly running the supplemented electric heat, so. But I don't know, man. Home ownership has unlocked a whole new level of anxiety I did not know possible. My brother right now at his house, unfortunately, he's dealing with frozen pipes. Electric heat, honestly, has been not heard anything of oil heat either. So I was talking, we had our Christmas party Thursday night, our staff party, and the owner's husband was there, and he loves talking about this kind of stuff. And he said, when you break it down, oil heat's technically like the quote-unquote cheapest. It just has much bigger upfront costs. But when you break it down, it's cheaper than gas and electric. You just have to pay more money at once. But if you time it right, yeah. And it depends on the kind of oil heat you have. So I have forced air heat, which is technically like the most efficient. Whereas one of my coworkers has oil heat, but it's hot water radiator heat. Yes, I have an electric stove. And I naturally do a lot of baking, so just because. So usually what I do is after I'm done baking, if it's cold out, I'll leave the stove open but turned off and let the heat just vent out into the rest of the house, and it keeps it nice and warm. But nobody out here has gas, it's just oil. Or propane. But yeah, the director's husband was telling me it also depends on the kind of heat. So I have forced air, so it's basically just the oil heat heats up the air and then blasts it throughout the house. Whereas my coworker with oil heat has hot water radiators, so the furnace has to heat the hot water and then pump it throughout the whole house. And then my parents' house has hot water baseboard gas. So the gas heat heats the water and then it pumps through the house and comes out through the baseboards. Electricity than the national gas. Yeah. Whereas I guess electric baseboard heat, which is kind of what I want, just radiates out from the baseboards. But it's electric. It's just expensive because it sucks up power. But no carbon monoxide. But, yeah. So, yeah. Oil heat just seems more expensive than the others because you gotta pay up front. Unless you can get one of those like monthly contracts like a lot of the companies in my area have, but you have to use a certain amount annually, and I have no idea how much I'm going to use annually, so they won't give me that contract. So I have to just pre-buy. So, and seeing as how I haven't even gone through 175 gallons yet since October, I probably won't hit the minimum required for a contract, so I'd have to pre-buy. So then it's just finding out where's the cheapest to pre-buy from, which right now it's shaping up to be the company I have with right now, because they don't have annual minimums. You can just buy the oil, which is all I really wanted in the first place. Just buy it as I use it. Paying monthly for gas, most fees, taxes, minimum, better pay up front. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. And like the taxes and everything is included in the upfront cost, so there's nothing sneaking up on you. So, and plus, unlike electricity and stuff, I'm not locked into one company. Like I can shop. There's so many different heating companies around here that I can shop around from and find the best price. And I'm not locked in to some of them. I can go to another one if they have a better price. Which works out in my favor. But right now, the one that lets me just buy whenever I want so far has been like the best price in the whole area. So, unlike my electric company where I'm locked in with these people. But they haven't really done anything to make me mad. It's the water company that's making me mad right now. I've actually been added to the lawsuit against them because they want to increase the rates. And I filed a complaint because I'm like, these rate increases you want to do are pretty steep. Like, I could afford it, but what about other working families and stuff that are not in a better position to me. Like, it's not fair to them. Natural gas bill, yeah, Charles is streaming fed program, isn't that? Yeah. Whereas when I ordered oil from this oil company, they were like, all right, yep, $300. And I'm like, okay, any hidden fees? Nope, all the fees were included in that $300, which is the credit card processing fee. If I didn't want to pay the credit card processing fee, I can just stick cash under my welcome mat and they'll come grab it and give me the oil. But so, but yeah, my water company wants to raise the rates, and it would be on an additional like $20 a month. Which some people are like, it's not so bad. I'm like, yeah, but every other single company is trying to raise their rates also by like $20 a month. And that's too much. And then they sent me the cost breakdown when they said, here's the proposed rate increase. And it was actually more on residential use than on industrial or commercial use. Like, the residential use would be bearing the brunt of the cost increase. So, they said if you don't like this, you can file a complaint. Yeah, rainwater filter, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna file a complaint. This is just another tax on working families in an already difficult economy, blah, 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 angry political stuff. And then I got a mail from the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission saying, yep, we've added you to the lawsuit as a party to the lawsuit. So please send some more stuff here. And I was like, oh, great. So I mailed that off all there. So, yay. Apparently the proposed rate increase made a lot of people mad. Especially because they said we're doing this to upgrade infrastructure. I'm like, yeah, no, you're doing this because data centers keep sucking up all the water around here. Like, there's no reason I should be paying for the water used in a data center on the other side of the state than on top of my mountain, where there's already really low water pressure. So, no, I'm not paying you your additional $20 a month. You don't need that $20 a month. Make the data center pay that extra $20 a month and leave me out of it. And it's so funny because I'm so worked up and angry about it, and yet my water bill for this month is only like $5. So everyone's like, well, what are you so mad about? I'm like, it's the principle of the matter. Like, yeah, my water bill is already usually pretty low. Because, like, I listened to all those water conservation things they told us about back in the 90s. But it's principle of the matter. And that's why I joined the lawsuit. Fortunately, it was too late for me to file a complaint about the increased electric rates, but my electric bill isn't that bad. Data centers about to go. Yeah. No, and there aren't even any data centers around here. Like, I'm in middle of nowhere, God's country here. Okay, the nearest Walmart is the one in my hometown, a half hour away. Of course, there's like $5 Generals within a short radius, but that's just everywhere in America. So I'm like, why are we here in this tiny town, population 200, paying for data centers when there isn't one within like 100 miles of here? Exactly. Put them where it's already cold. Put them underground. Or, find a way to take that heat they radiate off and convert it into usable energy, or use it as heating alternatives for people's homes. And why do we even need AI in the first place? Like, I have a coworker that's dealing with, pen and paper. Like, I have a coworker that's dealing with baby daddy issues. Won't pay his child support and has visitation but never shows up for visitation. But she's afraid to sue him for full custody because she's like, oh yeah, my grandma said it would be my word against his. I'm like, well, what law school did your grandma go to? And she's like, oh, she didn't. I'm like, yeah, because she's in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. You'd have better luck consulting tea leaves. And she said, well, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT. And I'm like, no! You are low income enough with a child, not married to the father. Therefore, in the state of Pennsylvania, you qualify for free legal aid. And place I work for is like, you'd be like, hey, I need time off to go talk to legal aid. They'd be like, yeah, absolutely, go. So it's not even work being a barrier to that. Like, the owner herself would be like, absolutely, I'll cover your class for you. That's where I'm lucky in that I work for good I have at least decent administration that will come in and cover the class themselves. She's like, yeah, I'll just ask ChatGPT. I'm like, no! ChatGPT is not a lawyer. Go to the legal aid clinic that's literally a half a mile down the road. You can walk there on your lunch break. There's a sidewalk. It's walkable. And then she said, well, ChatGPT says, I'm like, what did I just say? It's not a lawyer. ChatGPT has been caught making up fake case law. I'm like, just take him to court for full custody. And if he fights you and says, I want full custody, let him. Because as soon as he gets full custody, he's going to realize how hard children are, and he's going to beg you to take the kid back, and you're going to end up with full custody. Like, yeah, family court in Pennsylvania can be pretty boneheaded, but you've got pretty good documentation that he never shows up for visitation. Also, don't consult. Yeah, you have better luck consulting the tea leaves. Than some random from the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Just don't ask ChatGPT legal questions. It's like asking Reddit legal questions. It's not going to work. Only reason you should ask Reddit legal questions is to figure out what type of lawyer you need. That's the only way you should turn to the internet for legal advice. Is what kind of legal advice do I need to get? I do love reading the legal advice subreddit sometimes. Just seeing the hot drama. Love a good hot drama. I know there's something on TikTok right now, the Resilient Jenkins or whatever. That's a hot load of drama. People are get the hell off Reddit and get a lawyer more than ChatGPT will do. Yeah. Well, Reddit is good for telling you what kind of lawyer. I'm not going to consult a real estate lawyer about immigration issues. It's not their field of expertise. They'll have to consult the tea leaves. And like, that's why you go to the free legal aid clinic a half mile down the road on your lunch break. It's free. You're low income enough to qualify for free. Like, my hometown has resources that a lot of places don't have. And I know about the resources because when I've had issues, I've gone and used them. It's just... hate to rag on Gen Z, but it's the Gen Z laziness. We need to bring back computer lab in schools. Loved computer lab when I was a kid. It was my favorite special activity. Going to the computer lab, seeing the big colorful Macs. God, I still want a purple iMac G3. I know they're like 25 years old, but I want one. It would be an expensive paperweight at this point in time, but I still want one. The keyboards just made such a satisfying sound. Made people stupid and lazy with powerful in the past year asked me to your old books. Yeah. Well, that was when I was in college. They were like, go to the library and get some resources. Granted, the transition was happening to mostly online when I was in college, and I was using mostly online resources, but I still had my butt to the library trying to find old academic journals. God, I miss JSTOR. I missed the JSTOR access my college gave me. I won so many internet arguments. Gift from God, keep the good work. Thank you. Put on this earth to make things out of string. Right now, I guess I don't even know how to make anything. I've been crocheting since 1999, so that helps. And practice. Practice, practice, practice. Use your brain. Be creative. Try new things. It's literally how I learned how to crochet, because there was no YouTube tutorials back then. And I just played around with the yarn until I realized, oh, if I do this with my hook, this happens. If I do this, tutorial on YouTube and endless step-by-step videos. Yeah. Most of the stuff I figured out pre-YouTube. I mostly use YouTube now to tutorials now to perfect things. Or perfect the technique that I already figured out. Again, that's because I'm just really old hat at this. But there's always, of course, things I learn on YouTube. Like I finally figured out raglan style sweaters thanks to YouTube. Though my issue with that was mainly the math. I could never get the math right. I struggled with like anything that required mathematical shaping and specific numbers. I always really struggled with. And I still struggle sometimes with that. That's why, like, I will sometimes check a pattern because someone else did the math and then I just figure it out from the pattern. Once someone does the math for me, I'm all set. I can go from there. But no, just practicing and being creative. Don't get too heavily reliant on YouTube though, because you never know when you're going to be without internet. That's why I say if you find a pattern you like, print it out, save it. Physical media, books, practice, use your brain. See, I have dyscalculia, so it's like the dyslexia but for numbers. So if you give me a word problem, I can figure it out. Crochet pattern. But if you just put a bunch of numbers down in front of me, I'm going to be like, I don't know what that is. There's the furnace again. It's the one thing, yes. Assistive AI. Helping me figure out my math. Because, yeah, like, I could always do word problems okay. And, like, if I had physical items in front of me, I could do it. But if you just gave me the numbers, because literally I would have no comprehension. Like, you put a string of numbers in front of me, and I have no idea what that means. Like, I figured out numbers just through sheer memorization. It's like, nowadays, if you put a number in front of me, I'll usually be able to figure it out. Like, if you put a number 1 in front of me, I'll figure it out. But that's just because I just memorized it. Yeah. AI with math, it's basically just a really fancy, energy-hungry calculator. It's getting chilly in here. Even with the heater on. I might turn on the electric fireplace for a second. No, math and I don't get along. And how I managed to pass math in school is I would sit there with a bunch of equations, any equation possible, and I would just memorize the answers. That's why I always got tripped up when they're like, show your work. I'm like, I have dyscalculia, so I just memorized it. There was no work in here, it was just sheer memory. The only math I'm really good at are ratios, and that's because I have to be good at that for my job. But that's because, like, there's actual physical objects in front of me. People. So, like, I can explain a ratio. I can figure out a ratio. But there have to be actual children in front of me to figure it out. Like, if there are 4 babies in this room, there needs to be at least 1 adult. 2 apples and 3 kids. Yeah. 2 apples, 3 kids. You chop each apple into 3 pieces. And then just distribute the pieces among the children equally. Okay, this is working. It's working really good. It's keeping the seam from migrating. I like that. I like it when the seam doesn't migrate. I mean, obviously that can be fixed by turning your work, but I don't feel like turning my work for this one, because... yeah. It's coming out very nicely. And it's so soft. This yarn is so soft. Loops and threads, facets. Take longer to type the question? Yeah. Well, that's because you gave me that, and I immediately thought of, okay, here's 2 apples, here's 3 babies. How do I make sure each baby gets a piece of apple equally? Shiny yarn. Yes, I love the shiny. And because that's an actual thing I gotta do in my everyday life. How do I equally divvy up this food among the babies? Because they're ravenous beasts. And then there's the advanced part. How do I divvy up this food into the proper portions that matches each kid's appetite? Because some of these babies eat like little birds, and some of them eat like little dinosaurs. So how do I have this food? How do I divvy it up so every kid gets the amount of food that will make them not hungry? Which child gets the tiny portion because they eat like a little bird and don't want the big portion, and which kid gets the giant lunch lady slap? What kid gets a trough rolled out in front of them, and which one will eat daintily? And how do you divvy up the food amongst those? Because, yeah. Feed the bird kids to the dinosaur kids. I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to do that. I think that's frowned upon in most childcare circles. God, some of these kids can be the AI response. Yeah, probably. Like, oh, just feed the little bird eating kid to the big kids. No, that's cannibalism. That's I'm pretty sure licensing would have something to say about that. No, but I've got some kids that eat more than I'll eat in one sitting. I have one little boy that I'm like, all right, this kid's a ravenous beast today. I'm just gonna keep feeding him until he stops. Kid ate a portion and a half of the lunch. He ate 3 whole stuffed shells. He ate a big old full ice cream scooper full of mixed vegetables. 2 tubs of baby food. And like 30 veggie straws. And 5 ounces of milk. And I was like, boy, I can't eat that much in one sitting. And I'm old. And I'm like, where is it all going? You are a literal baby. Your stomach is like this big. Yeah, this kid's a bottomless pit. He's a hungry beast. I mean, he's in the 99th percentile for height, weight. And you can feel all 99 of those percentiles when you pick him up. Love that kid, but I'm like, I can't wait for you to go to the toddler room because you're too heavy for what I'm used to. He's a certified big boy. I call him a teddy bear. I always tell him when I'm gonna feed him, I'm gonna stuff you like a teddy bear. Because I adjust the portion sizes for him because he's such a hungry beast. Like, genuinely hungry, wants food, eats like a grown man. He's the one that gets the whole trough. I don't even plate it up for him. I just dump it all straight on his tray. Like, here you go, here's your slop, and he eats it up. I'm like, I don't even have to cut it up that much for him because he's got teeth, so he'll just rip off the chunk and chew it like a little. Yeah. His favorite thing is meat. Probably because he's so big, he needs the protein. It was his first birthday last week, and they said, yeah, we're going to take him to Texas Roadhouse and get him a nice little steak. Have him chop it up real small for him, because he loves meat. I'm like, dang, I want to be that kid. I want steak for my birthday. They had some good steaks at Manager's Special at the grocery store yesterday when I went, so I got some. They're in my freezer. God, I gotta figure out what I'm doing for dinner tonight. I'm probably gonna make a big thing of pasta and eat that. Then I'll have leftovers for tomorrow night. And then I'll just eat something on the road to Pittsburgh Tuesday night, since I'm traveling to my brother. Spending Christmas in the big city. The bigger city. It's gonna be a shock since I've been living in the middle of nowhere for so long now. That just encountering traffic in my hometown is like, ugh. Because there's one traffic light in the entire town here. And it's only really active during rush hour. Because it's along a major state highway that commuters take. So they only really have it going during rush hour when everybody's running to work, and then they turn it off. DNA consumed over 4,000. Yeah, ground beef is so expensive right now. They had a good Manager's Special at the grocery store yesterday. My mom sent me out to retrieve ingredients for baking cookies. And then they had like whole ribeye steaks for $4. So yeah, I grabbed a couple and threw them in my freezer. Got some ground chorizo. I always stock up on ground meat when I can. Because I love to mix chorizo with rice and a vegetable. And I like to season that, put that all together. And then put it and have it as like burritos. Or I'll put like a fried egg on top or something. It's just a good generic filler. So I'll take like a whole pound of ground meat. Lately it's been like ground turkey or ground chorizo because it's cheaper than ground beef. And I'll add like 2 cups of rice to it and a can of vegetables, some seasonings. And And then boom, there's my dinner. Delicious. We're making good progress on this sweater. I do believe we will be done with the main body on live. Scene is migrating a bit, but you get that when you don't turn your work. And I'm working in continuous rounds. That's one thing I want to do in the new year. I definitely want to start putting more big wearables like sweaters on my shop. How to do a garden and buy basic wheat and garlic rice bean. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to start a garden in the springtime. Grow some squash and whatever. I want to grow squash and I want to grow native wildflowers. Because the place I moved to, you don't have to mow your lawn. I know last year in the summer I was talking about growing native wildflowers on the lawn so that they couldn't make me mow the lawn. Well, out here where I moved, they don't make you mow the lawn regardless. As long as it's neat. It can be as tall as you want. It just has to look neat. So, yeah. This is why I moved out to the middle of nowhere. Ain't nobody could tell me what to do with my lawn. Yeah. I just don't want to grow stuff for the pollinators. Some squash. Because I love a good squash. I want to try growing carrots. Because I'm so tired in the mornings driving to work that I'm worried about falling asleep while driving. But one of my coworkers said, oh, just eat carrot sticks while you're driving and you'll wake right up. And it works. And like, I can have a full night's sleep and get in the car and be like tired in the morning because it's so dark when I leave. So I've been eating carrot sticks while driving to work in the morning, and it works. I'm awake, I'm alert. Gets that weird sleepiness out of the way. So, if I could grow my own carrots, that would be great. My dad wants me to plant garlic, but the reason I said no is because his retirement is he wants to go be a garlic farmer for his retirement. And I'm like, you're not expanding onto my property. You already grow so much garlic, Dad. And he's already convinced my brother and sister-in-law to grow garlic that he'll then go harvest and use to sell. And I'm like, you've got 12 acres, old man. I have no acreage. The listing was in how many square feet the whole property was. And I want to put in a swing set and a fire pit. But then instead of a barbecue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my fire pit, have like a grill over it, and then I'll do charcoal if I want to grill anything. Throw some charcoal in the fire pit. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a nice little area. I'm sure I'll show it off some on camera when it's warmer out. Because I can't really do any filming outdoors right now. Because I work long hours and it's dark when I leave and it's starting to get dark when I get back. So, yeah. I want to build my own charcoal cooking area outside. And all that. I want to build it out of fire bricks and stuff. And then I can host outdoor gatherings because there ain't no room in the house to have a party, so everything's got to happen outside. And just, yeah, I've got a tiny lawn to work with here. And there's no mandates on what I can and can't do with it out here, so. Haha, this is why you moved to rural America, because then you can do whatever you want. And it's not like a super conservative area either, so I feel safe out here. So. So nice. I'm gonna try and get this seam to migrate the other way because it's starting to come around to the front. I don't want it in the front, I want it in the back. So I know MJ says this pattern is supposed to be seamless, but I can never hide the seam. Even by watching the tutorial and the video and seeing everything that goes on and experimenting. I can never really get that seam to hide in the armpit where I can never get it to stay in the armpit where it's supposed to stay. So, but I want to try because usually I've modified the pattern to make it go, just have the seam straight down the middle of the back because the back of the sweater doesn't count, but the crocheting since 1999, dang it, I will somehow get this seam to hide someday. I will figure it out. Oh shoot, we've been live for over an hour. Wow, that went fast. Probably gonna turn this fireplace on soon though. We're over sure even more earlier this is. So I'll find an alternative. What you gotta do is you gotta attract endangered insects. Like, you gotta get the monarch butterflies setting up shop, and then the federal government steps in and is like, no, you can't do anything here. So, that's what I was trying to do back at my parents' house. Whereas out here, they're like, just keep it looking neat and tidy. You could let your lawn grow, just as long as it's not ugly and all growing all over the place, it's fine. And they have that. They're trying, because of the abandoned house next to me. It's been abandoned since it's 1980. I think I've brought it up before. It's been abandoned since like 1980. Guy won't sell it. It's literally falling apart. But the guy won't sell. So. Yeah. Now it's home to a colony of feral cats. And they keep all the pests away in the neighborhood. Like, yeah, feral colony of cats, not the greatest neighbor, but there's no rats. There's no woodpeckers banging on my door. Minimal bugs. And that's why the pest inspector that I got was so happy, because he's like, yeah, there's like nothing. Well, yep, that's because apparently my next door neighbor is a colony of feral cats that have been living in, descended from cats that moved into the house back in the 80s. That's like a generational colony going on back there. Noisy morning doves. Well, I haven't heard much of them since, well, it's December. But we'll see what the summer brings. It should be fine. The cats only come out at night. They're all very feral. No friends there. It was like, oh, house full of cats? Yeah, no, they're not friendly. People put out food for them, they emerge at night, and then they go back in the house during the day and they don't come out. I've seen them in the early mornings getting ready because I'm up so early in the mornings. I'll see them from time to time walking around. And they'll just go tearing back into the house as soon as they notice me looking at them through the window. And I know my neighbor next door said occasionally there's one that gets tired of the feral life and will become domesticated. But that's how they got their cat. One day a cat just walked out of that house, walked into their house, and decided it lived there. So. It's a cute, quirky little town. Chat. Okay. I'm going to set this down for just a second, pause, and turn on my electric fireplace because it's a little chilly here. So be right back, chat. It's literally right here in front of me. Okay. I'll grab this blankie too. Okay. My assortment of seasonal throw blankets. I love a good seasonal throw blanket. I know everyone's like, no, overconsumption. No, you can't ever have too many cozy blankies. I love them. Owner of the daycare I work at gives me a new blanket every year for Christmas. It's great. I got a nice fleece one that I put upstairs in my bedroom. I keep the seasonal ones downstairs. And when the season for it is over, I pack it up, put it away, get out the next season. So next will be the Valentine's Day blankets, and these will go into the Christmas tote box. So. I also want to make some throw blankets for down here. I don't know. I've had this idea for a temperature blanket bouncing around in my head. But I don't have to start it in January because the idea I've had for a while is 2 temperature blankets, one for the year I was born and one for the year I turned 30. So I could start those whenever, because those are in the past. I can use the historical data. It's just getting the budget and figuring out the palette. And figuring out which yarns I'd want to use for it. Yeah. I don't have any summer themed seasonal blankets. I've got lots of Christmas ones, lots of Halloween ones. Oh yeah, I love festive Christmas stuff. I know people overconsumption, you don't need that tacky Christmas decoration, but yes, I do. It's when you have too many tacky Christmas decorations. I allow myself one new tacky Christmas decoration a year. And yes, I need that gingerbread man shaped cookie jar. That's a year-round decoration. So yeah, I want my festive blankies. Various Aldi blankets I've collected over the years. This one I bought myself at Aldi. This one was a gift last year from the boss. And then the other ones were relatively season neutral, so those are up either on my bed or in my alleged linen closet. It's just a freestanding set of shelves outside the bathroom, but that's my linen closet. And I just rotate them out. And then I do have some of my seasonal blankets still at my parents' house. I'm slowly acquiring tote boxes that will be set aside for the seasons to be stored in the basement. And then when one season passes, it'll go in the tote box and then bring up the next one, and there we go. I got a lot of Christmas knickknacks from my uncle when he passed away, like this wreath. And then that medal hanging there, I won that at the staff party on Thursday for building gingerbread houses. Because at the end of the time limit, my team's gingerbread house was the only one still standing. Because we didn't use we didn't decorate it at all. We just used all the frosting to make it structurally sound and didn't add any decorations. Meanwhile, everybody overused the frostings to add the decorations, and their houses all fell apart. Whereas ours was boring, but still standing. So, ha. And then on Friday, my classroom won the door decorating contest for the year, and I was just like, yes, because I've been there 7.5 years and I've never won the door decorating contest. I lost by 1 vote last year. So this year was kind of like my redemption. Last year we did jingle cats. So we put a Christmas tree on the door and then various cats with Santa hats glued to their heads. Pictures of cats. Wait till it's over and don't like doing it. Yeah, I love Christmas. I think a lot of people that don't like it, it's the obligations they feel like they have. Or the financial strain. They're like, oh, I have to get all these expensive gifts for all these people. And I'm like, no. I'll give people the expensive gifts on their birthday. Christmas is for lots of little things. Like, I'm feeling the stress of the holiday season right now because I often gift handmade. And, I have to have this sweater done and wrapped by tomorrow night. And I'm traveling for Christmas this year, which is But I try to not let it get to me too much. It also probably helps that I don't have children, so I don't have any magic I need to... I don't have children of my own, so I don't have huge magic obligations. I don't have to move an elf or be Santa Claus. And I know my mom has said that Christmas is much less stressful now that my brother and I are both grown up and moved out. And we don't have big, expensive Christmas wants anymore, because we're adults. If I have a big, expensive thing I want, I'll just save the money and buy it myself. Yeah, I mean, I cheat. I start doing my Christmas shopping in January. And I just slowly acquire gifts throughout the year because it's the same day every year, so. I have literally, there's 365, sometimes 366 days to shop for Christmas, so. Strange for me is that I'm Orthodox. So, I gotta get everybody 2 presents. Because everybody in my life celebrates Western Christmas. Which is why I save. Everything is on sale. Exactly. And then I just wrap it up and store it. And then come Christmas time, boom, here it is, all set. So I can spend the actual month of December just enjoying the vibes instead of stressing about finding things. And it's the supply chain. I do not wait until Mary is 4 centimeters dilated to go Christmas shopping. I go shopping as soon as the test comes up positive. And just acquire things throughout the year. And that way I'm like not as financially stressed in December. Right now I'm financially stressed in December because I bought a house. All the after Christmas. Exactly. Exactly. That's when I do the bulk of my Christmas prep. December 26th, I'm at the store buying all the leftover stuff. Because Christmas isn't until January. What are you talking about? So. And then everything gets kind of spread out, and I don't feel that letdown when Christmas is over. So I know when I was a kid, growing up when I was still Catholic, like the night of December 25th, I would just kind of collapse. Because what do you mean the whole world's going back to normal tomorrow and we've spent all this time getting hype and now it's over? And I would get so overstimulated and I'd be riding that overstimulation the entire month of December and then... So crying, screaming fits on Christmas Day were normal in my household growing up because I would just melt down that it was over. And everything in life that was so magical and fun would just suddenly gone. I'm like, I'm not ready. I need a gradual come down. And I know people would tell my parents, oh, your kid's greedy. They're crying that Christmas is over. I'm like, it's not about the gifts. It's about all the lead up to Christmas. The fun, the magic, the colorful lights, the cookies, the candy, the vibes, decorations. She's not melting out because there's no more presents to open. She's melting down because all this stuff we hyped up for is just, boom, done. I would always be sad because then by the evening of Christmas Day, the radio would stop playing Christmas music. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready for it to be done. All this build up and it's done in one day? Absolutely not. Then I converted to Eastern Orthodox. That was not why I converted to Eastern Orthodox. There was other stuff going on. But now it's just kind of like a bonus. It's like, oh, Christmas isn't as abruptly over. It just keeps going. And then by Orthodox Christmas Day, I'm ready for it to be done. Like, I'm psychologically like, okay, it can be done now. So I keep the tree up. I keep listening to the music. Well, back at home, we kept the Christmas tree in this one corner that we never really put anything else in there. So we just kept it up year round and swapped out the decorations. Which I don't know if I'm going to do here or not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. But, yeah, I leave the tree up. I don't rush to get everything down. And all the festivities are more spread out, so I don't feel as much obligation to do everything all in one day. Like, I've got a good chunk of time now. And everything doesn't abruptly stop. It just keeps going. I mean, the rest of the world moves on, yeah, but nobody expects me to anymore because I'm Orthodox. So they're like, oh yeah, Christmas hasn't happened for you yet. I'm like, yes! Let me be holly jolly for a little longer. Because my parents did a good job with Christmas when I was a kid, so They really kept that magic alive for a long time. Of course, it backfired because then they found out, oh, I believed in Santa Claus until I was like 18. Because every time I had a question as a kid, my dad would come back with a answer that made sense. Daddy, how does Santa get to every child at night? Well, not every child celebrates Christmas, so that takes out a big chunk of kids. Okay, that makes sense. Daddy, why does my gift from Santa say made in China? Well, outsourcing. There's a lot more kids in the world nowadays than there were back when Santa's workshop first opened, so he has to hire help. Okay, that makes sense. Daddy, how does Santa fly so fast? Well, the space shuttle goes really fast. Okay, that makes sense. And then it took until when I was 18 for my parents to realize, oh shit, we kept up the lie way too good. Santa, how come Santa doesn't show up on radar? Well, stealth equipment. So, yeah. There were just a lot of things that my parents would answer my questions with about Santa Claus that just made logical sense. And you know, I've always had kind of that magical thinking going on. Like, Bigfoot's totally real. And all that lovely stuff, so. Now that I'm the adult, I get to provide the Christmas magic to the children I work with. And granted, mine are a little young to understand really what's going on, but they know something's going on. Even the youngest babies realize, okay, there's something going on that's exciting. And it's a great sensory experience. Like looking at a Christmas tree is good for babies. There's lots of colorful lights and things for them to look at, lots of sights, lots of smells, lots of sounds. I always say, wrap empty boxes for your babies and give that to them on Christmas because they're just sitting there tearing paper. They have no concept of getting new stuff, but they can feed off of everybody else's excitement. And it's good for their fine motor skills to tear wrapping paper. Like, that's one of the activities I did with the babies this year was I went to Dollar Tree, I got a tube of wrapping paper, and I just tossed it in the play area and let them have their fun. I mean, yeah, it made a huge mess that I had to clean up, but they got to just sit there and rip paper and be all excited. That's what I always tell parents. What do I do with my baby for Christmas? Give them a tube of wrapping paper and let them go to town. Wrap an empty box. Wrap every empty box you get and just let them go ham. Play in the boxes. Tear at the paper. Stick a little bow on their head. It's fun. It's a good sensory activity. I know I went to a party last week on Sunday. And the hostess' daughter or grandchild baby was there, and baby goes to one of the sister locations where I work at, and I was sitting there talking to them, and it was a little baby, it was only a few months old, and they're like, we honestly have no idea what to do about Christmas with her. I'm like, well, go take her to that tree over there and let her stick her feet on the branches. Hold her up to the ornaments and let her look at them. You know, one good activity you can do with a baby when you don't know what to do. Just open the freezer, hold them up, and let them stare inside. It's the gift of creativity. I know, I think one of my early childhood memories is when we got a water softener, and it came in this, to little kid me, absolutely huge box. And my mom and dad gave me the absolutely huge box, and my brother and I made a rocket ship out of it. And that rocket ship sat in the garage for like 20 years before my dad was finally able to get rid of it. It was like, Dad, it's not a rocket ship anymore. It was when I was a kid, but you can get rid of it now. It's okay. It's old and moldy now, but loved that rocket ship back when it was a rocket ship. It had crayons and markers and star stickers all over it. It was fun. Give your kid the gift of creativity and using their brain. Just letting them be bored with a bunch of open-ended materials. I always say the best thing you can give your kids is something that has multiple purposes and makes them think. Man, my rants about childcare and stuff on here. I wonder if I could make my live streams where I talk about these kind of things count as training hour or professional development hours. I'll bring that up on Monday. I'll be like, hey, those lives where I go off on a tangent about good activities for children, could we just somehow find a way to make that count as professional development hours for people that are watching that happen to be teachers? Because I know I would want it to count. Because, yeah, at this party, they took the baby over to the tree and let her look at it, and she loved it. I could hear those happy baby squeals as they held her up to different ornaments, and she got to, like, look at her reflection and touch the branches with her toes and all that exciting stuff. And they were like, thank you. Like, we have a tree in my classroom, and I'll hold the babies up to them and let them touch the branches with their fingers. I gave them a tube of wrapping paper to have fun with. And I said, just wait until they're older and discover wrapping paper jousting, like my brother and I did. We took 2 office chairs, tubes of wrapping paper, and, like, ran at each other with them, and jousted with the wrapping paper and injured ourselves pretty terribly a couple times, but it was fun, dang it. Can't do that anymore. It was annoying because my brother always won too. He cheated. Alright, yay, that fireplace is working nicely now. But yeah, I gotta figure out what am I gonna do for dinner tonight. I might do pasta and vodka sauce. I haven't made pasta and vodka sauce in a long time. I need something warm with a kick to it. What time is it? It is 3:48. So we'll just keep going. I actually have no idea how many rows I've done here, so I need to pause and count at one point. And if you're just joining, don't forget to double tap the screen to like the live and hit that subscribe button. If you want to learn more about crochet, child development, and hear me complain about various utility companies in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. I need new materials since it's a different garbage contractor out here that I can't complain about. I know the one back in my hometown was super annoying, and they were a frequent subject of live streams where I would sit and just complain about them for like an hour and a half. Because that's what you do when you're old. You get old and you get boring. And I'm not talking about, oh, I have old lady hobbies. No, I'm old. My birth year starts with 19. Let's see, what else is there for me to talk about? Not much, really. I mean, I have new ideas for stuff for Valentine's Day. One of the goals for my shop this year is, excuse me, more big wearables instead of the small hats and scrubbies and stuff I have. I want to pull out more like scarves and sweaters and such. I want to get my inventory closet fully set up because there's a closet in the yarn room upstairs, which we will film in when it warms up more. There's just only one heating vent for the entire second floor of my house. And it gets cold up there. My space heater that I have up there can only do so much. And I don't really have a comfortable chair up there. Hello, how are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing better. I had a really rough week this past week, but I'm doing better now. My car was just annoying me. Started off with a flat tire. Then I had an electrical glitch that made me think, oh no, my car's falling apart. But no, it was just an electrical glitch. Luckily, the tire replacement was covered by under warranty, so I didn't have to pay anything. And I didn't damage my rims by driving on it, because I went flat at a Dollar General that shared a parking lot with a gas station. So I drove the 50 feet over to the gas station because I thought it was an air pump, but it was actually a kerosene pump. And there were a lot of very loud men outside the gas station, and I was less than 2 miles from my house, and I was like, no. So I drove to my house on the flat until my boss could come help me change the tire. And then I had to drive on the spare to get my tire down to my hometown so my dad could take it to be fixed for me, and it was just, and then I had to get the spare tire back off and put the new tire back on, and that was hard. And it was a whole ordeal. Because it only takes me about a half hour to get here from my job. So, like, normally I get home close to 5 o'clock. But I wasn't getting home till like 6:37 a couple nights this week. Do you live with your dad? No. No, I own my own home. But I only live a half hour away from my family. And I still work in my hometown. So I was able to just drop my stuff off with my dad, and he was able to take care of it and then help me put it back on before I came home. But it was frustrating not getting home till like 6:30, 7 o'clock when I'm used to being home at 5. What do you want for your Christmas? Someone else to pay for my heating oil? Yarn? All expenses paid trip to a mountain cabin or something? I don't know. I'm at the age where I just want practical stuff for Christmas. I already have everything I really want. Don't need a new video game console, but I would like for someone else to pay the mortgage. $500 Michael's gift card? Joanne to come back? Is oil expensive for heating? Yeah. It can be. I think the price is right now, it's like $3 a gallon. Which you're like, oh, $3 a gallon. That doesn't sound expensive. Yeah, it's expensive when you gotta buy 200 of them. But I'm lucky in that I have an indoor tank instead of an outdoor tank. Because if you have an outdoor tank, you have to get winterized heating oil so it doesn't freeze. Which is even more expensive. Whereas my tank is inside in the basement. So I can just buy regular heating oil. It's got a huge upfront cost. You have to pay for everything up front. It's not like a monthly bill. It's you gotta put up a couple $100 every time you need heating oil. Which, granted, if your furnace is efficient and you don't have your house set at like 80 degrees, 200 gallons can last you a while, but like a mortgage for my Christmas, at least I'd eventually own. I got really lucky with this place. Because I sat and did the math, and it was actually cheaper for me to buy a small house in the middle of nowhere than it was for me to rent an apartment close to my job. Like, yeah, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, but I only have to pay like $900 a month for everything. And that's cheaper than just rent in my hometown. I mean, yeah, commuting kind of sucks, but what is your job? I am a teacher. In early childhood education, I work with infants and very young toddlers. I've been doing that for almost 8 years. That's my day job, and then I do this crochet stuff on the side. I do markets, and I sell stuff on my website, which you should totally check out. And this is actually the American double crochet. What ages? 3 to 4. 3 weeks to 15 months. So little. And I work with them a lot on their development, catch if there's any delays, lots of physical activity, teach them how to use a spoon and feed themselves, how to hold things, how to talk, how to walk, how to crawl, how to roll, how to be human, how to be a nice person, how to be gentle with their friends, how to make facial expressions. I have one that finally figured out how to crawl, and I'm so proud. I never thought he was going to crawl, but he finally figured it out, and I'm like, yes, all these months of working with you have finally paid off. So, but yeah, that's my day job. And then outside of that, I'm on YouTube. I do social media and crocheting and craft shows and such. Have you ever knitted? Yes, I do knit. I can do both. I knit a lot of things. I have a vlog that I just put out 2 weeks ago about all the things I knitted for Christmas gifts. Because I just bought this house, so everybody's getting handmade this year, because that money's got to go to bills. And taxes and insurance and... But at least I own the joint. It's a half hour from civilization, but it's mine. Granny used to knit a lot. That's nice, yeah. My grandma crocheted. She passed away before she could teach me. I was very young when she passed away. But then I found her old stuff in the basement one day when I was a little older, and I just started playing with it, and here we are now. Many, many years later. Let's see, it was 1999 when I started crocheting, so 26 years. That's why when people ask me, how'd you get so good? How are you so fast? Practice. I learned last century, and I just kept practicing. And that's really all you can do is practice, practice, practice. Do-do-do-do. Super nostalgic Christmas tree. Love those lights. Okay, when I get done with this row, I gotta pause and count. Ideally, I would have this done, the body of this done. Only taught me to knit a wee square patch. I could never finish it, couldn't not be square. Yeah, finishing off, especially with knitting, is really hard. Like crocheting, you only have the one active stitch, whereas knitting, you have to actually carefully finish things off. Whereas crocheting, I could just cut off the stitch, pull it through, and boom, done. Crocheting is more forgiving. Christmas was not bother me whatsoever. Yeah, it's just my old lights. It's a recreation of a light set from the 90s that played Christmas music. Always obsessed with them when I was a kid. I keep it on as background noise. It's just nice to have. Reminds me of my childhood. Drives my mother crazy that I found these lights because she always hated them because I was obsessed with them as a kid. My granny didn't do it for me, yeah. Yeah, binding off when knitting is something I always struggled with. Okay, how many rows of this did I do? I did 18 rounds for the yoke. So generally you want that to match. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I kind of want to do 21 rounds for the main body just to give it some extra coverage. This is not for me, this sweater. This is a Christmas gift, so. The person I'm making it for likes big sweaters. I can't guarantee that they're not in the live right now, so. A lot of people that know me in real life watch my lives and my videos. A lot of the families of kids I teach, they watch my videos. They're like my biggest supporters. You American? Yes. I live in the USA, in the great state of Pennsylvania, the only state where you can get stuck behind a horse on the interstate. And somebody is riding it. Also, we feel all 4 seasons in 1 week. Yeah, Pennsylvania is one of the weirder states. You live in Scotland. Nice! You know, the mountain chain here in Pennsylvania is the same mountain chain in Scotland. The Scottish Highlands. Can't happen in Ohio, do lots of Amish. Yeah, Pennsylvania just has the highest population of Amish, I think, of anywhere. Can't swing a stick without finding an Amish person. But yeah, no, the Appalachian Mountains and the Scottish Highlands used to be the same mountain chain millions of years ago. So, yep. Now, granted, someone that lives out in the West will probably be like, "Oh, you call those mountains?" Yes, I call this what I live on top of a mountain. It's again, the American Office program. I haven't really watched it. I'm not a big TV person. I've never watched The Office just because I don't really watch TV. I can't even remember the last TV show I actually watched. I think it was the Christmas episode of The Twilight Zone was the last TV episode of whatever I watched, and that show came out in the 50s, so... You watch documentaries? Yeah, mostly documentaries, non-fiction stuff. Edutainment. Some low-level reality TV. I don't really watch a lot of fictional things. Mostly into documentaries. Something where you learn something. Love a good documentary. Logan's Run. I caught the end of Logan's Run once. I know the premise, and I watched the last half hour of the movie. Must watch. Yeah, I would say so. But interesting concept to think of. Not a documentary, yeah. No, I do like sci-fi. I think really the only TV show, fictional TV show I've ever really sat and watched was Star Trek. Avatar: The Last Airbender and Star Trek. That's about it. And Law and Order. I like Law and Order. But I don't really pay attention when Law and Order is on. It's just on for background noise. I have a favorite Star Trek? Star Trek Voyager. That was my all-time favorite. I grew up on that. Loved Voyager. Still love Voyager. I rewatched it last year. Stargate. Once when I was a kid, my mom watched Stargate. And sometimes I would watch with her, but... yeah. Like Star Wars. I have, and this is going to sound like sacrilege, never seen Star Wars. I've seen the last movie of the original trilogy and The Force Awakens, and that's it. So, yeah. I know, it's like sacrilege. I've only seen 2 Star Wars movies. Out of order. But my brother likes Star Wars. I was a Star Trek. I haven't seen any of the new Star Treks, though. Only, the ones that were on in the 80s and 90s. The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and some of Enterprise. And the occasional episode here and there of the original series. Ewoks. I know what Ewoks are. Like, I know the lore, general lore from Star Wars. I've just never really seen the movies. I'm not a really big movie watcher, just because I struggle with... I have ADHD, so I struggle to sit still and pay attention if it's not, like, really actively making me think. It's probably why I can sit there and watch, like, an hour and a half long documentary, no problem, but I need, like, 5 breaks to get through a Disney movie. Need that sweet, sweet dopamine. Excuse me. So glad today's the solstice and it's going to start being darker, lighter out later at night. Like, I don't mind the level of darkness in, like, the fall, but winter just really gets me. Yes, that dopamine. I need that dopamine hit. I don't produce enough of it on my own, so I gotta use store-bought. Same with the serotonin. Gotta love it. All I want, and that's what I want for Christmas. Normal serotonin levels. But, yeah, like, this getting dark at 4:30 nonsense needs to stop. What? You can buy dopamine? Yeah, it's called Adderall. Adderall, it fixes your shattered dopamine things. Helps you produce more. That's not dopamine. No, it's Adderall. I know, but it fixes the dopamine levels. Just that joke from Ina Garten about how if you can't make this on your own, store-bought is fine. If you can't make your own dopamine, store-bought is fine. God, all this humor that is lost on the younger generations. Doctor, if that could help me. Yeah. Yeah, Adderall can be really helpful. As long as you remember to take it. Because, yeah, ADHD. People talk about how, oh, danger, these ADHD medications are so dangerous and addictive. If it's so addictive, why do I forget to take it half the time? It's only addictive if you're neurotypical. Because ADHD, it's a brain chemistry thing. As is most addiction, it's a brain chemical problem. That's why neurotypical people get... Oh, that's why I forgot. Yeah, exactly. Gotta love that ADHD OCD combo. Double punch. And then let's add a little bit of the tism to it. And I have a real fun existence. But, yeah. Crocheting helps with that. It keeps my hands busy. But, yeah. Oh, look, it's been 2 hours. Yeah. I need to get this sweater done by like tomorrow night. So we're live today, off schedule to keep me off of my devices and from doom scrolling. Can't doom scroll when you have to entertain people and crochet at the same time. So, yep. And it helps my channel too, because the algorithm doesn't like me that much right now, because I didn't post anything for... About yourself because you forgot to do a simple thing like take a tablet. Yeah, the guilt. And I get the double whammy because I was raised Catholic, so... Oh! But... Yeah, I've been so... You were raised Protestant. Yeah, so you don't have the Catholic guilt. That's something you don't really get unless you're raised in it. And, like, I'm not even Catholic anymore. I'm Eastern Orthodox now. And yet, it's still, that stuff is ingrained. It sneaks up on you. Yeah, someone says, start coming back to Star Wars, like, oh, may the Force be with you, and I'm immediately like, and also with you. Dang it! Don't even go here anymore! And yet, it really sucks you in. It's when you're raised in it. Now I'm Eastern Orthodox, which is much less guilt, more bling bling, but stuff's ingrained. It's ingrained, man. It's ingrained. There's no escaping. Stuff is forever. But, yeah. It was really funny because I grew up Catholic, but I went to a Protestant youth group in high school. And they're like, oh yeah, we're holding it in the church. And I'm like, this is a building. This is not a church. Where's the stained glass? Where's Mary? Where's my mom? So every time I walk into a non-Catholic or non-Orthodox church, I don't see Mary anywhere. I'm like, where's my mom? Where are the bones? Where's my mom? Where are the icons? I'm like, this is just a building with a big hall. But, yeah. I'm gonna have to stop and count my rows again. I was too lazy to get out my row counter for this, but because it's... Double crochets are easy to count. The rows are easy to count when you're working in the round like this. So I had 18 rounds for the yoke. I want 21 rounds for the main body. And then I think that means 24 rounds for the sleeves, so... And sleeves go pretty fast. It's just the bottom ribbing that'll be hard ribbing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, we are making really good progress here. Okay, so this seems to be making the sleeve migrate back the other way. So if I just keep alternating, it'll work. Middle behind you 4. Oh, at work, my team won a gingerbread house building contest at our holiday party last Thursday. And I didn't know where to put it, so I just hung it right there on a nail sticking out of the wall for now until I figure out where to put it. But yes, my team, we won. Our gingerbread house was the only one still standing at the end of the time limit. Yeah. It's just a generic medal that they got off of God knows where. And then the winning team got them, so. Yeah, we kind of cheated. We didn't even decorate it. We just used all the frosting available to suction the pieces together. So. Yeah, so by the end of it, everybody's beautifully decorated houses were falling apart, so we won by default. Because it was the only one still standing. And I said, yeah, well, they only gave us 10 minutes to build these gingerbread houses, so we should focus more on making it structurally sound than pretty. And everyone on my team tried to argue with me, but we won. So, I was right. We won. It was by default, but we still won. Because it's the children from your class. No, this was the work party after school. This was all adults. But I was teamed up with a bunch of young 20-somethings that thought they knew better. And I'm like, no, I've built many gingerbread houses in my day. I know what I'm doing. Trust me, we will win by default. And we did. Because with gingerbread houses, you're not really supposed to use the frosting as the glue. You should use a glue gun. Because you're not going to eat it. It's just there to look pretty. So, use a hot glue gun to put the house together and the frosting to stick on the decorations. But in this case, it was just to have the house that was still standing and look nice, so. I just made sure we used all the frosting to make it structurally sound. But yeah, tip, if you wanted to build a pretty gingerbread house, use a hot glue gun. School for Christmas. Well, there were no kids at this party. This was only for the staff. There was one baby there, but that was a staff baby. One of my babies, actually. But the kids are off. I work 2 days next week, and then we're closed until January 5th. So they'll all be off for Christmas. And I'll be off for Christmas, which is nice because I need a break. I was just off for a week at Thanksgiving, but that was not a break because my uncle passed away this year, and it was the first Thanksgiving without. And I did not get to relax because family stuff. So I'm looking forward to Christmas because after I get back from visiting from my brother, I've just got like a whole week. I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna sit on my butt here at home and crochet and work on stuff for my shop and try to get back to my usual posting schedule on YouTube and get some more content made out there because I've been a bad content creator since October. Game before they come off for Christmas. Mine are really young, so they don't really do many games, but I'm sure the older kids, we're not really doing much of anything. We're just trying to survive, so I'll let them play with some wrapping paper, stuff like that, since mine are so little. They don't really know what's going on. They just know that something is going on. They're just not sure what. Coloring in. Mine don't really color yet. They're not, most of mine aren't even a year old yet, so. They'll just play with their toys and be happy. And all that good stuff. What time is it? Okay, it's getting near time for my aunt to call me, so we're probably going to jump off alive very soon. But I am confident that we will finish this sweater tonight. We have to finish this sweater tonight, or at least by tomorrow night. Crochet at work. Sometimes, yeah, when the kids are napping, there's not much to do. On my lunch break, I'll crochet like simple things. I crochet at staff meetings and such, just keep my hands busy. I'm very rarely ever not crocheting. Just because it's good for keeping my hands busy. So I've always got some project or other I'm working on. It's just right now I'm on crunch time because I've got this sweater to make and I also have a commission I need to finish. But that's just a cowl that's almost done and a hat takes me only like an hour to finish, so I can do that on a lunch break at work. You tap your fingertips. Yeah, I just prefer to be doing something productive with my hands just because, I don't know, I'd get bored just sitting there tapping my fingertips. I want to see something happening. I want to create. And so, yeah. I was that person in college that brought my projects to all my lectures. And at first the professors would get mad and be like, oh, this is distracting, you're not paying attention. And then I would be able to repeat everything back to them verbatim and they'd be like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I'm just keeping my hands busy. This is like the equivalent of tapping a pen, only much quieter. Also, I'm not working on any super complex projects. I never work on complex projects when I have to be doing something else. Like these top-down raglans, once they're set up, they're really not that complex. It's tapping your fingers calmly. Whatever works. So it's starting to get dark. I'll have to pause and turn some lights on soon. Alright, that's row 15. 6 more to go. Or scribbling. Yeah. Yeah, I used to doodle too, but I don't know, crocheting has just always been my go-to keep my hands busy thing. And I mean, obviously now I can profit off of it because I have a shop where I sell things. And I do craft shows and stuff. And YouTube. Well, I'm not monetized on YouTube yet. That's the goal for next year. The goal for this year was to get to my first 1,000 subscribers, which we did. This year, upcoming year, 2026, is to actually get monetized and make more consistent money off of this, because now it's just through affiliate links and such. I don't get any advertising money. So. I would always love it if I could get, like, of all the sponsorships I want, I would jokingly want to be sponsored by Benadryl, because I'm allergic to wool. And I just think I could make some super funny videos of me taking Benadryl and then trying to crochet with wool, because that just knocks me out. So, it'd be great if I could have like, okay, let's crochet this sweater. This video is brought to you by Benadryl, and then it's just like a couple minutes of me just dead on the floor. Because you can't be itchy if you're unconscious. I don't know. I don't think Benadryl even does sponsorships. Different religions where you are. And it's pretty overwhelmingly Christian here where I am, but there's like 2 Catholic churches, an Orthodox church, Presbyterian, Methodist, Baptist. There's a lot of different denominations around me, but it's pretty overwhelmingly white Christian. Because this is the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Like, this town is so middle of nowhere, we don't even have a sketchy Chinese restaurant. Which actually really sucks, because I could really go for some Chinese food, but there isn't any Chinese food within like 10 miles of here. Even then, it's expensive. There are trains? Nope. There used to be. But no, we don't really have a lot of trains in the United States to begin with. Only in like the really big cities. And then only the really big cities are connected by trains. We just don't have passenger trains in the US anymore. I think the nearest train station that you can actually get on a passenger train is like 20 miles from here, but it only does trains like once a week. Everybody here just drives. I mean, back in my hometown, there used to be like, too many cars. Back in my hometown, there used to be really good public transport and then like a good bus system. And then the pandemic happened, and now it only really services the major apartment complexes. Like, I used to ride the bus all the time. I didn't get my driver's license until I was like 25 because I just didn't need it. But then they started cutting funding, and it started getting more and more unreliable, so I was like, alright, fine, it's time. I'll go get my driver's license. And I got it just in time because then COVID happened, and the bus system went completely. And then my town stopped being pretty walkable. It used to be fairly walkable too, but then, it just got so pedestrian unfriendly, the bus system got terrible. And then rent is insane in my hometown, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go buy a house in the middle. And I already gotta drive everywhere. I may as well go live out where the cost of living is cheaper. So, it's only about a half-hour drive to where I work. And it's not a bad drive at all. It goes by really fast. And the cost of living out here is much cheaper. Like, there's a slightly bigger town a couple miles from here that has a grocery store, and everything is like $2 cheaper. Like, I can still get a pretty full cart of groceries for only $20 there. Whereas in my hometown, you can get like maybe a small bag of stuff for $20, if even. And the taxes out here are cheaper. It's quieter. There aren't as many cars, but that's just because there aren't that many people. But it's definitely like, if you don't have a car, you're out of luck. And there's no Uber out here. Here could be dangerous, yeah. Yeah, that was the first downfall, is that the bus system in my hometown used to go until like 4 a.m. So it was like 22 hours. And then they started cutting the late night services. And then they started cutting services altogether. Like, a bus would come by my house every 20 minutes, but then they increased it to every half hour, and then every 40 minutes. And, like, if I wanted to be on time at work, I'd have to show up get on the bus an hour early or walk. And then I'd be stuck there until another bus came through, whereas one came through every 20 minutes. And then they started gutting the late night services, and then they started gutting the early morning services, so I had to start walking. And that's when I was like, alright, I'm just gonna get my driver's license. Yeah. And now it's just a shadow of what it used to be, and it's so sad because it used to be such a good public transit station. Such good public transit. You could get anywhere in my town on just a bus ride, and the bus ride was like affordable. It was only like 50 cents one way. But now it's like unreliable, impossible, and like $3 one way. So I'm like, well, what's really keeping me here if it's so expensive and the public transport didn't even work? And I mean, I do miss living within a reasonable walking distance of my job. But even though I'm paying for literally everything myself out here, I'm completely off my parents' payroll, it's still more affordable than my hometown. And I mean, like, the gas prices out here even are cheaper. It's like 20 cents cheaper out here than in my hometown. It's getting dark. Probably have to get off my butt and turn on a light soon. Wait, I messed up. Hold up. Okay. Alright, there we go. I made a mistake. Got confused as to where I put my hook. But I found it, so we're all good. Here we go. I think we'll do 2 more rows, and then I'm gonna jump off because I gotta talk to family on the phone. Talk to my family every Sunday, and I gotta make dinner, and I gotta do other things around the house, like, yeah. Probably should throw some laundry in the washer and dryer so that I'm ready and I don't have to do it when I get back from visiting people for Christmas. And I gotta bring my work presents, my presents for my coworkers to work tomorrow, so I'll probably put those in the car soon so that I don't have to worry about it in the morning. I like to try and load my car up for work the night before. I like packing and loading the car the night before I have to travel, so I'm not running around panicking when I'm trying to get ready to go. Gotta pack yarn for the trip, because it's always better to overpack yarn than underpack yarn. You don't want to be caught. I don't want to be caught without any yarn. So, yeah. If you're just joining, don't forget to double tap the screen to like the live and hit that subscribe button. I haven't said that in a while. Make the algorithm like me a little more, please. Also might jump off live soon because I'm kind of tired of talking and just want to watch some TV. And by TV, I mean put on another documentary or something. That's why I have such approximate knowledge of so many weird subjects, because I don't really watch TV, I just watch documentaries and I absorb all that knowledge. It's like, why do you think I, a crocheter, know so many weird random facts about structural engineering documentaries? Why do I know so much about the Vietnam War documentaries? But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to do pasta for dinner tonight. Most definitely vodka sauce pasta, because that just sounds so warm and delicious right now. Don't have any roast vegetables to throw in it, but oh well. It's fine. Also kind of want a glasses break, so. Hello! Welcome to my live stream. I think we'll finish this round and then we'll do one more. Because then afterwards, I think I'll only have 3 more rounds left to go, and then the main body will be done. And I would like the main body to be done. Main body and sleeves, and then we'll worry about the ribbing tomorrow. Just annoying that I got so off track, because I was going to make myself another ugly Christmas sweater. Kind of like this one that I made last year. I was going to make another one like it, but I've straight up run out of time, and now I'm hoping I'll at least get it done by Western Christmas. If not, I mean, there's always Orthodox Christmas, but I would like to have it to wear throughout the whole week between Western Christmas and Orthodox Christmas. Oh, and my tablet battery is getting really low, so we will finish this round and then say goodbye for the night. And then I don't know when I'll go live next, if I'll go live at all during this week, or if it'll be our usual Saturday live. I'm not sure. It depends, since it's the holiday season. All that lovely stuff, so. Definitely not going to go live on Christmas, because I'll be busy stuffing my face and cooking, and alternating between stuffing my face and cooking, because I am an adult. I have to be the one that cooks now. But then I get to eat it all afterwards. Excuse me. I'll be at my brother's house, so I'll just make him do the dishes afterwards. Be like, well, it's your dishes, so you wash them. Right. And that is where we will stop for today's live. But I'd say we got some really, really good progress done on this. Like, I only have 3 rows left on this main body, and then it's done. And then the sleeves. So, thanks everybody for coming to the live. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like. I hope you subscribe. I hope you come to another one sometime. I hope you watch my videos. I hope you check out my website. All that good stuff. Drink your water. Stay hydrated, my friends. And I will see you all again some other time when we go live. So, thanks for watching. Good night. Yes, I'm gonna stop.